Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about how to get more Airbnb bookings with this. It's honestly like three or four tips, but I couldn't think of like a buzzword or a number to have. I am going to be cracking open a cranberry clementine for this one. So today is a little bit more of an advanced strategy. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. I will try and dumb it down as much as possible. I'm not sure how advanced everybody is in the audience. But we're going to be looking at price labs. This is a question that was not to me directly. It was in a pricing Facebook group. But I was like, man, this is such a freaking good question. It's in depth, yes, but for those hosts that like have price lab set up, this is exactly for you. Ideally, you have a market dashboard set up within price labs. This will kind of connect the dots a little bit more. But even if you are just beginning this, you should be able to take away at least a couple nuggets. Once again, drop in the comments if you have any specific questions on price labs, getting more bookings, Airbnb, STR management, so on and so forth. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. Let me share my screen real quick. And I also noticed that the little banner down below is incorrect. So got that fixed. All right, let's get into it. So this question, this is probably going to be very, very small. Let me expand this a little bit. Hopefully you guys are able to see some of this. I'll kind of go through this and read it. And so this was in a Facebook group that I'm a part of, kind of high level STR revenue managers. So I need your take. I'm going to read it. Stick with me. This is a very, very in-depth question, but I promise it will be worth it. I need your take on minimum stay requirements, MSRs. Never heard that term before, but minimum stay requirements versus length of stay pricing. The goal here is to increase visibility. What this person is really wanting is more bookings for higher revenue, just like every other host. So I've actually outlined the program, Tegan. I use minimum stay requirements. Example, 4 nights on weekends, 3 nights on weekdays, 60 days out, dropping mine to 2 to 3 nights closer in, the whole revenue management strategy. To prioritize longer stays and minimize turnover. First step is that's a great start. Like this person is already on the right track to get more bookings because longer stay, it's Airbnb Tetris. Longer stays first, and then fill it in with short stays. So get the big blocks, the 4-nighters, the 5-nighters first. Let those land, and then you can be aggressive before and after. I've been preaching this from the rooftop, but this person is on it. So they at least know, they understand the problem aware that, okay, I want to prioritize longer stays and minimize turnover. Because you got to think, the big reason why I love these midterm stays, our average length of stay is like 12 nights in an urban market, which is unreal. Most people are booking Friday and Saturday only. The even if your revenue is a little bit lower, your turnover is way lower. If you turn the unit 4 times versus 1 time in 4 weeks, your turnover is a lot lower. So this hides, but here's kind of the problem. But this hides my listings from Airbnb Vrbo searches for shorter stays, aka 1 to 2 nights. So my gut reaction right now, you don't want these 1 to 2 nighters. If you've got an open calendar, do not allow 1 to 2 nighters. Giuliano, thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully this will provide value. I know you're a next level host. So if you have any questions, drop them down below. But this hides my listing for shorter stays. Yes, it does. So if you only allow a 4-night minimum, obviously you're not going to get shown to if somebody's only looking to 1 to 2 nights. One thing that I preach is to our clients and our students is like half the battle with revenue management and getting longer bookings is like shielding against the bad bookings. So first, identifying what the bad bookings are. Usually those are 1 to 2 nights. I honestly don't really like 3-night stays either. Those are like, I'll take it if I can, if I have to, if I'm into a spot where I have to take it. But the 4 nights is where the profit is made. We get I mean, we get so many 4+ night stays. But the problem here is cutting me out of the consideration set when chances to win guest business. So Tegan, you're probably not watching this. Maybe I'll share this video whenever that's done. So you're absolutely on the right track. But the first thing is like, you don't want these 2-night stays right now. Now, if you get a 4-nighter, let's say you book a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nighter, I will take that 1 or 2-nighter from the Monday to Wednesday before and the Monday to Wednesday after. I'm like, that is freaking gravy. That is where all the profit is at, is those reservations before and after. So that's where you go from breaking even to making, $2,000 a month. All right. So kind of get into the nuts and bolts. I'm wondering if I can achieve the same goal, but avoid being filtered of a list of searches based on length of stay. So to answer this, no, I don't think there is a way to do it, at least from what I found. So she's kind of broken it down into 2 options. 1, stick with minimum stay requirements, aka keep minimums to ensure longer bookings but lose visibility for short stays. Or option 2 is switch to length of stay pricing, eliminate the minimum night stay requirements to show up in all searches, and use pricelabs to set a high base rate for discounts, a high base rate, and then discount for longer stays. So she's actually got a nice little graph here. So like if we're searching for 1-night stay, instead of it being priced at $500 a night, she's like, okay, can we price it at $700 and allow that 1-night stay? And then 2 nights give a 10% discount, 3 nights give a 20% discount, 4 nights give a 30% discount to try and get to that like baseline. Let's say $500 a night for this property, right? So option 1 or option 2. I am a big believer. I have very strong opinions. You need to stick with option 1, but there is a way to dip in option 2 as you continue to drill option 1. So option 1 will pull 80-90% of your occupancy. And then this right here is like the shorter stays for a higher price. That's where we fill in the gaps. That's really what's worked for us and our clients. And I'll kind of break down my notes and my thoughts after this here in 1 second. So insights for discount for lower rates, 60 days. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. I know this is kind of a lengthy one, but I'm going to go into what I think and how to actually do this based on data. So, all right. So really here, let me just make sure everybody can still read this. All right, Giuliano, same here. I choose option 1. Showing up for everyone isn't necessarily a good thing. Bingo. Like you do not want those bookings that are bad bookings. So I've kind of broken it down in the way that I think about this right here. You can do both. So just like I mentioned earlier, you can have option 1, shield against the bad reservations, only get the 4-night reservations, maybe a 3-night if you have to far out. And then if worst case scenario, you're not booked and you miss the booking booking window, you can still kind of last minute, I'll take a 2-nighter, I'll take that 3-nighter if I absolutely have to, or the 1-nighter. So I've kind of broken it down into the kind of the buckets here. I'll get into the length of stay the discount here. So bookings in order. This is my internal philosophy is I want the 4 to 7 night bookings. If I am shielding, okay, let me zoom out a little bit. If I am taking a 2-night reservation 60 days out, then I am not even, if there's somebody looking for 30 nights, let's say July right now is wide open for us. All of our, everybody's like, oh my God, the sky is falling, like July is fully open. But if somebody's looking for 30 days in July and I'm the only one available, I am going to make more profit, turn the unit less, and the place is going to host 8 guests versus 80 guests. So the wear and tear is going to be lower for that reservation. So I say all that to say, half the battle is not accepting that 2-night reservation that just would potentially screw up that entire July. If you get a July 4th reservation for 2 nights, yay, you made, $500, $1,000, but you have cannibalized that $6,000 month that is booking somewhere else, booking at one of our properties. So, this is a give and take, because you don't want to shoot yourselves in the foot too long and hold that minimum too far. It's all about finding those booking trends. That's done in the market dashboard that I teach my students, and finding those booking trends. And when that booking window goes from 4 to 3 nights, you want to be able to change your minimum there. And then when it goes from 3 to 2, you want to change your minimum there. Then 2 to 1, so on and so forth. So these are the ideal bookings. Obviously you guys probably get it. 3-nighters, I'll take it, I guess, if I have to. I think there's a huge difference between 3 and 4 night stays. 3 is like break even ish. 4 is like, that's where you're profiting. 2 is last minute. This is like, okay, last minute, let's say Friday right now, we got Saturday, Sunday open. Like, okay, I'll take a 2-nighter there. 1, this is mainly for everybody's kind of scared of 1-night stays. I love them. I think the profit is in these 1-night weekday stays. I really do. Like, you go from losing money to breaking even to making, $1,000 a month with this right here. So this is typically done with pricelabs. We automate all this. It's the orphan night auto rules, the adjacent auto rules. Adjacent's like the bookings before and after, or the days before and after a booking, and then weekday, like Monday to Wednesday. Thursday's not a weekday anymore. So this is really where the magic happens. Megan, thanks for joining. Let's see. You can keep your discounts in your PMS and then minimums and seasons in PriceLab. Yes. So this is a great point, Megan. I appreciate you jumping on. You actually kind of beat me to this point. So discounts go on platform. You just get a huge SEO boost when you have discounts on platform. I don't think I need to explain why, but like all the shiny tools they give you, you want to use those tools. So let's say we have $1,000 a night property on Airbnb. Let's say we give a 10% weekly discount. You can also do that 10% in PriceLabs instead of Airbnb, but PriceLab, if it's $1,000, let's say $1,000 for a week, just super simple math. If it's an Airbnb, it's $1,000 and you give a 10% discount, they will show that to the guest, versus if you only put it in PriceLabs, Airbnb only sees it as $900. They don't see 1,000 with the 10%. They only see that 10% already off the top. So you're going to get a lot more bookings with that. Hey, this was $1,000. We're going to drop it to 900 because you're booking a week, versus this thing was only 900 to start and you get no discount. It's just basic psychology. Megan, appreciate that. Yeah. Rule of thumb, just keep the discounts on platform. All right. And then kind of back to this original question here is switching to length of stay pricing. So length of stay, I'm going to kind of nerd out a little bit on you. Hopefully you stick with me. Length of stay pricing is like you determine the discounts based on how long they stay. So in Airbnb, you've got weekly and monthly discounts, which is a form of length of stay discounts. It's just you have to do 7 days or you have to do a month. There's no like, okay, if they stay 1 day, you get X amount, 4% off. They stay 2 days, you get 7% off. 3 days. You can set that in Airbnb. PriceLabs, for most of the property management systems, doesn't have this integrated into PriceLabs. So I'll show you the reason why it kind of sucks. Just stick with me. So PriceLabs doesn't have the length of stay for most PMS property management system. If you guys don't know, I use that a decent amount. So the workaround here is, I know you guys are all about the workarounds. Airbnb rule sets. So Airbnb rule sets, man, I could do a completely different training on Airbnb rule sets and like what to do, what not to do. Like I've made so many freaking mistakes on Airbnb rule sets. It is hilarious. It's kind of a side note. I think we took like a $80 reservation and it was like a $500 weekend. I think it was a Thursday night. Luckily, it was priced at $500, but I set up the rule set incorrectly and it gave a freaking 90, like a 70, 80, 90% discount to somebody that booked that Thursday. Yeah, I have learned from my rule sets, but that's a completely different, not funny. it's funny because it was my property. It wasn't our client's property. I usually me and my business partner will demo stuff on our properties because if something screws up, like it's ours versus our clients. So Airbnb rule sets work. You can do this on Airbnb directly. So even if you're hooked up to like Guesty or OwnerRez or whatever, and you can't do it because you're integrated with pricelabs, I don't know how Wheelhouse or Beyond Pricing work. So hopefully somebody in the comments knows that. But pricelabs is, from what I found, to be the best. So you can set this up with Airbnb, but the downside is you cannibalize Vrbo. So like, for example, let's go back to the $500 a night property, right? On Airbnb, if you have a rule set to say like, okay, if they stay one night, they get 10% off. They would get $50 off. They stay 2 nights, they would get 20% off. So they would get $100 off. But if you add that on Airbnb, and Vrbo doesn't have length of stay pricing. So since it's not in pricelabs, you're only doing it for one channel. So you're favoring Airbnb. So you will almost always get that Airbnb booking and leave Vrbo out to dry because you're 10 to 20% lower on Airbnb versus Vrbo. Like most of the cheap guests come from Airbnb. They're very, very price conscious. Vrbo is a higher quality of guest. They book further in advance and they care less about the price. So you're naturally forcing the reservations to go through Airbnb, which I do not like. We do like 40% Vrbo. I love Vrbo guests. So I want to make sure I am competitive. There's even times where I will give Vrbo a discount over Airbnb. So we're like naturally forcing guests, the smart travelers going to Airbnb and Vrbo. They're shopping around. There's like tools out there to find all these listings to where the smart travelers is getting the best price. So I love pushing people to Vrbo to get those bookings. So don't cannibalize Vrbo. This is something we rarely use rule sets. They are powerful when you do use them. We still do in custom promotions. If we need to pull a lever and get a book, like that is the easiest way to do it. But just kind of understanding how all that happens. Let's see. Giuliano, I think I probably beat you to it. The length of stay discounts don't apply to Vrbo the same way it does for Airbnb. Yep, great job. But I believe Hospitable is bringing that feature into Hospitable, which, yes, like Hospitable is, could go down a side tangent here. We use Guesty and Hospitable for the people that don't know. Guesty has their own pricing software in-house. That's why they limit a lot of these features. I think OwnerRez does it as well. Like they don't give the access to pricelabs for these length of stays because they keep it in-house. It's kind of like they're cheating the system a little bit, but they're the software that gets to dictate the rules. Hospitable just launched a smart pricing internal. I'm hoping it's going to be better than Guesty pricing. I just honestly, Juliana, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Like I would be very reluctant to go away from a tool that only does one thing and only does one thing very well. Like pricelabs is so integrated with Host. Like I almost don't even want to go to this other shiny object because that's all they do. Like they do pricing. They do it at a very high level. They're integrated with so many PMSs, like so many hosts use them. It's probably going to take me years to even, if I ever change from pricelabs. Pricelabs is the best technology that I've found in this altogether. So I say all that to say, Hospitable, bringing the feature to Hospitable. Yeah, I mean, that would be helpful. Maybe we could just use that one feature in Hospitable for our Hospitable clients. I don't know. All right, Eric, let's see. Eric, thanks for the comment. Appreciate you watching. I have pricelabs connected to PMS, then PMS has a markup for Airbnb specifically. Yep. This doesn't hurt the Vrbo pricing. Yeah. So what I was specifically saying here is you can mark up and mark down those. Like if you have, Vrbo's a little bit higher or lower, like most PMSs have that integration or feature pretty easily built in. I was specifically mentioning once you add rule sets, that kind of it bypasses the link, the markup. So this is like if we're 500 on Vrbo, 500 on Airbnb, the markup could be like 5% up and down. But once you slap a rule set on one, it'll, like the example earlier was like, you charge a lot for one night and then you give substantial discounts if people book longer. So that first night, if somebody books, like your Verbo is 500, but your Airbnb is 800, best believe that people are going to get that Verbo over that $800 one night stay. So hopefully that made sense. Megan, this is Caleb. I have to show you a crazy length of stay spread I did for someone. Owner Res handles it well. Okay, that's good to know. I've demoed Owner Res, but I've never used it. Heard good things about it though. Yes. If there's something here that can provide value to the audience, Megan, please drop it down below. Happy to kind of go through it. I know that's the length of stay spread is probably something kind of difficult to show on something like this. All right, Giuliano, 100% agree. I think there's going to be a hybrid model for pricing, but pricelabs will be the lead software, at least in my workflow. Yeah, I agree. I freaking love pricelabs. Their tech team, their support is on it. I've met with the founders multiple times and given them like direct feedback on like features I want, features I don't care about, and they're constantly updating. I don't really care about the UI. Like, who cares if the product looks good and it needs to work? Like, everybody loves Guesty because it looks sexy, but like at the core product, it's kind of a beta product. Pricelabs doesn't look that sexy. It's very functional and the data is solid. Probably as crazy. Let's see. Eric, probably crazy as mine. I start my discount at 2 nights, then go up incrementally every night up until 7. Yeah, this is a good strategy. Probably as crazy as mine. I'm not sure about that first part. Probably something I said earlier. Probably as crazy as mine. I start my discount at 2 nights, then go up incrementally every night until 7. Yeah. I mean, we do something similar. We do weekly and monthly for sure rule sets when needed. But yeah, that's I think a pretty good strategy. I would say probably most hosts watching this have some type of discount, whether it be like early bird, a last minute, some type of like platform discount to incentivize bookings, because it's all human psychology, right? If you price it at this, then you give a discount. Guests, like, they're smart, right? But they also want a deal. So, Eric, yes, let's get it. Funny. Megan, I think you had just met with Richie and team over there at Price. It's funny, I actually spoke with Richie about length of stay function today. He recommends keeping in PMS. Why? Then doing seasonal rates, narrow minimum max with smoothing. I'd be curious, what's their reasoning, he said, Megan, there to keeping it in the property management system? Because Pricelabs has this functionality. They have it built in. They have it. It's the property management system's choice to not allow that functionality to be pushed from Pricelabs to that property management system, because it is a golden feature. But you need to understand kind of how it works. I'd be curious to see why he doesn't want that in Pricelabs. Man, I see so much value in that. Keeping it in the property management system, then doing, if the property management system will allow you to do that, then doing seasonal rates. Yes, seasonal rates, love seasonal rates. For those not sure what that means, I'm kind of glossing over a lot of terms, but seasonal rates is like Charlotte, for example. July is the best month, January is the worst month. So Pricelabs is going to automatically fluctuate that July price up and the January price down. But from what I've seen, you still need additional premiums and discounts to get to where you will get booked. We're at like 85% across the entire portfolio on average year over year. I think we finished at 84 last year across every single property. So like, you still need, like, let's say July prices at, $7,000 from the Pricelabs default. Whereas January, let's say they priced it at $3,000 total. I've found that like the highs should be higher and the lows should be lower. So you need to be more aggressive in the peak season and less, or more aggressive on the high end on the peak season and more aggressive on the low end specifically during the slow season. So like if they're pricing at 3, I think it should be like 2,200, for example. Or peak season, let's say July's price at $7,000, it should be like, maybe 8, 9. Appreciate the comment, Megan. For those who don't know, Richie's one of the founders over at Price Labs. Man, if you guys are watching, sponsor this video. I freaking love Price Labs. I've probably sent you a lot of customers. Megan, if you're connected to something like OwnerRez, once again, OR OwnerRez, there is no LOS, length of stay, function settings, and Price Labs unless you are something like Lodgify. Okay, so Lodgify seems like they allow it. OwnerRez, if you're connected to something OwnerRez, there's no length of stay function setting. Yeah, so it's OwnerRez deciding in Price Labs to not turn on that feature for that specific OwnerRez Price Labs integration. I think it's really stupid, to be very blunt, but it is what it is. I'm not the dictator of how the APIs work back and forth. Like it's such a powerful feature. Like, why not give hosts the ability to do that? Like, imagine having length of stay with Vrbo, Booking.com. God, it would make life so much easier. All right, that is all that I've got. If nobody else has any specific questions, we still got maybe 10 people watching live. Thank you for joining. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it was super like in depth, but God, I love doing these like in depth kind of next level advanced trainings. Typically, we do this in office hours, which is Friday at 1:00. Versus Wednesday at 6:00 Eastern time is more of frequently asked questions, more of kind of like the basic host starting package. This is more of kind of high level advanced. Joseph, thank you for the support, my man. Any other questions before we wrap up? Let's see, was there anything else I missed on here? Actually, let's do this. This will be fun. Let's go through this for those that are still watching. I think I left a comment here, but let's see what people had. Eric, thank you. Have a great weekend. All right. Really good insights. All right, let's see what Jake had. Jake is very, very bright dude. I agree that using your length of stay discount strategy will be tough as your normal pricing will still be high in comparison and would hurt you. Yep, I think I mentioned that earlier. I like the thought process of being able for a length of stay. Generally, we use length of stay discounts to incentivize a longer booking further out. Yep, do the same thing. I like the context we are missing is what the situation with the property. If you are booked solid all the time, hundreds of reviews, then you should add restrictions to capture just the length of stay and pricing you want. God, it's like Jake read my mind. If your property is brand new, then you need to get aggressive. So like you're going to take that 3-night booking further out than once you have. So this is like once you have momentum versus once you're starting a brand new property, you need review velocity as quickly as possible. I was talking to a prospect yesterday about that. She had like property then listed for like a year with 9 reviews. I'm like, you need reviews like now, even if it's a cheaper stay, like give a discount, 30% discount, just get reviews as quickly as possible. So you're kind of off the beaten path. Remove as many restrictions as possible to get it booked. Yep, exactly. Add restrictions to prevent problems like Saturdays getting unbooked or too many one-night stays. Yep. Shielding against the bad bookings, just like I said. That's great. All right, let's see what... We are in a heavy weekend tourist area market with our historical average length of stay being 2.5 days. I mean, this is most markets. Like urban markets as well. Like Charlotte is not a tourist market whatsoever. It is a urban market. There's two big markets. You got the destination like beach, mountain, Asheville, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, like the Orlando's, the Disney Worlds. Like you've got that bucket, which is typically like shorter stays but higher rates, versus the urban bucket is longer stays, but lower average ADR, if that makes sense. So those are usually the two buckets. But most markets are 2 to 3 nights length of stay. But God, I guarantee in almost every market, I have yet to see a market where there are like no 5 to 14 night stays. Like they happen. People are staying in Asheville for 2 weeks. People are getting those bookings. I know it because I look at it every day. So macro data is nice, but you also want to look at the micro. I just get the feeling that you aren't going to show up for many people because they don't search for 4 stays in your market. I disagree. Well, the market dashboard, there's a length of stay by booking window chart that is it's gold. It is the best chart. And I would be willing to say that there are a lot of 4-day stays. I'm in a lot of vacation markets where the average length of stay is 2 days, and we're getting Thursday to Sunday, Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, and sometimes even Monday. Like we're just slamming those 4 days. Beach markets, mountain markets. I have to check with the team to clarify our settings. Seems during peak booking window, we are pushing for 4 nights, then missing the window because you don't show up in all searches. Then we're setting the either below market rates for 2 nights. Yeah. So like this is this is what most hosts do. They think they need like a super strict, like the prospect we were looking at yesterday, they had 7-night minimum. I'm like, you're not going to get booked for 7 nights 1 month out. The ship has sailed. Though you might get one every now and then, but it's just 6 months out. Yes. Like you're in a super beach lake market. Those 7-night stays happen the Saturday to Saturday booking window. That happens often. We're setting for early below market rates. Yeah. So at this point, you're just like, screw it. Like I need whatever. This is kind of this bucket right here. It's like last minute. I just need revenue. I can't blank on this Friday, Saturday weekend. Just my hunch. There's data to figure this out. It's okay to get lower market rates. Initiative rank. Yep. Okay. Oh, hey, Giuliano. Yes. Okay. You were just in here. Hopefully you're still watching. Anytime something doesn't seem right with the settings, reach out. We can figure out. Okay. Let's keep it moving. What's your average booking window and average length of stay? Let's see. Average booking window is 30 days. Also, almost every single market that I operate in, and 2 to 5 days. Some of the urban markets are like 21 days on average from what I've seen, and more of a vacation rental market are 30 days. So once again, macro versus micro data. You've got this is probably looking at the macro, like every 2,000 listings in this market, people are booking 30 days in advance. But if you set up your comp set and you look at specifics, like the closest 15 to 20 comps, I bet there are some booking windows that are like 90 days out, 120 days out, and they're staying for 2 weeks at a clip. So you're like shielding against the 2-day stay to get the 14-night stay, and then you can allow the 2 before and after that chunk. So if it's less than 3 on average, which means you're more restrictive than comps. I don't know if she's seen her comps. Sorry, less restrictive for last minute bookings. Assuming you're okay with a 1-night weekend. Ooh, don't allow 1-night weekends. Don't do this. This is especially far out in advance. If you're like week of 2 days away and you have Friday and Saturday open, like I would be okay with that. But that's like worst last minute. You should at least have. If I were to look at our calendar, I don't think we've probably missed a weekend night. I don't know. It's been a long time. So it's too, because I'm assuming 6 days away. That's still probably too long because 6 days in Price Labs is a week. Especially if people are booking only 30 days out, like it's too late. I would probably do maybe 2 days. 14 days. Once again, like a lot of these questions are answered in the comp set. Like this is just what I've learned. This is probably too lax, but the comp set would answer that. Okay, market dashboard. Yep, seasonal profiles. Love that. Attach minimum stay profiles to those seasons. Yep, genius. Love it, Heba. Oh man, let's Juliana. I don't know if you're still watching, but I am. I'm sure you've answered this. This is 4 days ago. Let's get into it. Depends on your booking window. Yep, minimum stay approach. Nice. Yeah, making sure you're dialed in. This all these answers are in the market dashboard in your comp set. Yep. Yeah, what's up? Still got it, rocking it, my man. Love the answer so far. All Airbnb cared about conversion, correct. You don't want to show up more people and possibly lose money. If someone books a 2-day weekend further out, you end up losing more money. Bingo. Because it's too tough to fill in the rest of the week. Exactly. Almost every market I've operated in. I mean, we've almost everyone. It surrounds the Saturday Sunday booking. So you want to group the days around it. So the Thursday and Sunday are the money days, and the cherry on the top are the Monday through Wednesdays. Those are the hardest ones to book. So you want to kind of so let's say Friday. Let's say Friday and Saturday. Needed Thursday and Sunday. This is where you get your profit. And then Monday through Wednesday, this is cherry on top. Let's go, baby. I've never broken it down like that, but it's so true. If you're concerned about ranking, it's a new property. So once again, if it's a seasoned property, you're going to handle seasoned property different than a brand new unit that has minimal reviews. Brand new unit, you want to get off to you want to get 10 5-stars in a row, or else like do something drastic. If you got like 1 4-star, it's not that big a deal. But if you like land 1 star back to back, like delete the listing, relist it immediately. So concerned about ranking, it's a new property. Other strategies to rank solid. Yeah, and Airbnb Verbo pushes these new listing with discounts. If you're getting longer bookings further out, you will rank well for those number of people and number of stays. One thing that I've realized, Juliana, I don't know if you've seen this specifically or anybody else watching. Appreciate everybody for rocking with me so far. This has been the longest one yet. If you're getting we have properties where like we just land 30 to 60 night stays year round. It is ridiculous. And I think that dictates from the jump. Like in the beginning, we've had properties where we'll strategically force people to stay longer to split test. Like, okay, if we get a 14 nighter first reservation, like I would be willing to bet, man, I want to have some data. I need to actually look this up. Is like the properties that start off booking longer stays. I bet if we were to look further in advance, that length of stay is just way, way higher. Like we just got one today that was like 34 nights at one property that just churns out month to 3 month stays. It's kind of ridiculous, but I think that's something with their algorithm that's like, okay, if you have a stay that's 30 days, they give a good review. Chances are they're going to continue to push those 30-day stays your way because you've got momentum there. Let's see. Another point. Why are you lowering base as it gets closer? I wouldn't recommend that. Are you even in peak season? Yeah, it's hard to answer these because it's what's the season? How's the property doing? Are you so many factors. Yep. Depends on what your competition is doing. Also depends on the product. Yeah, there's so many levers here. Let's see if we can. Yes, definitely a science and an art. There's a lot of data, but you also need to look at it from like a emotional standpoint, if that makes sense. I think you stick with your opinion one and your minimum stay rules only if you have to figure out what your medium booking window is. So it looks like it was 30 days from a prior comment, George. I don't know if you're watching when you get that medium booking window. So I think it's good to have the market in general median booking, which is 30, but I bet in the comp sets there's going to be some like 45, 60, 90-day booking windows that are trickling in. When you get that median booking window, you should most certainly drop it to 2 stays over the weekend and 1 or 2 nights on weekdays. So we've been testing going to 1 night stays on weekdays further out. When I say weekdays, Monday to Wednesday, and it's like everybody's so freaking scared of these 1 night stays. Like we've had really good success. Like nobody's partying on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like we're like, if we've missed the boat on a lot of these longer stays, like why not allow a 1 nighter, 10 days out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night? Like it can't hurt. Every now and then we'll get like a Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night booking from that, like Wednesday being 1 night minimum. And then that weekend is harder to book because we have a 3-night booking for very, inexpensive days. That Wednesday and Thursday are going to be less expensive than the Friday. So you kind of like force people to do that. And then you need to automatically set that Saturday to like 2 nights. So you get the Saturday and Sunday booked. You'll just have a same day turn on that Saturday, which makes sure your cleaners can do same day turns. If you go with option 2, your pricing is just going very high to potential guests on searches. Yes, bingo. You're gonna plummet your views if you're 100% higher, but allowing a 1 night stay. So I don't think that would be the strategy. Which looks like George. I think you're misunderstanding the median booking window. You don't necessarily drop it right after the median number. This is the middle of your bell curve, meaning that most people are booking at that time. You drop it once you're inside the prime booking. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, stripe through pricing. You get a lot of those with custom promos. Let's look at a couple questions I've been missing. Caleb, do you know if Pricelabs is not connected to any PMS? Is there a length of stay function? Yes. I haven't tested this, at least in like 6 months. But the last time I talked to him, Pricelabs had the functionality built in for length of stay when it's not connected to a PMS. I just know that Guesty does not allow it. Hospitable did not allow it at the time whenever I was talking to our account rep. But let me know if I'm incorrect here. But yeah, let's see. Giuliano, this was totally accidental, but I love joining. I have to jump now, but good stuff, users, man. I appreciate you watching. Tuesday is my party day. That's funny. All right, let's get through here. I think it's probably the last comment. I don't know if there's any better, but this is what I'm currently doing. Depending on the market, I have a 3 to 4 night minimum further out. Good start. As we get closer to the arrival date, it is reduced to 1 night. I'd be curious at what point is that 1 night? Probably, hopefully the same week. Our beach property is a 4-night minimum until 4-night minimum until 60 days. Then a 3 at 30 days. 3 at 30 days. So you're like, yeah, I mean, beach property in peak season, the Saturday to Saturday booking window is very popular. I would probably say if we looked at this guy's calendar, he would be booked on every weekend. You get Thursday to Saturday booked, but once you kind of deviate from the Saturday to Saturday booking window, like you kind of screw the entire month. So you want to be very, very restrictive on the front end, further out. And once you start getting that Saturday to Saturday, you'll just see them start stacking in. You'll just have same day turns on Saturday, which is great, but your profit will be through the roof. Our property reduces to 2 nights minimum and either 28 or 14 days, depending on the property's popularity. That's a big difference. 28 and 14, like that's a whole nother booking window. Most markets, 2 nights at 28 days is way too lax, and 14 days is way too lax as well. Now, I did look at a market yesterday that had like almost no last minute bookings. There was like 5 in the past 30 days. So like you got to be super, super dialed in, a little bit more aggressive further out. So something like this, I wouldn't be opposed to if it was a market like that. But once again, the data in the market dashboard will be able to tell. Have minimums that don't reduce for holiday weekends. Currently, I have a last minute discount managed by Airbnb. They are progressive. Example, 28 days, 5%, 21 days, 10%, 14 days, 12%, 7 days, 15, 3 days, 20%. Be careful if you try this because the discounts stack. Yep. And it also like it forces last minute stays. Like the algorithms know you have these last minute discounts. I don't typically use them. I don't know about everybody else, but like I don't like the last minute discounts. I don't know. Just I feel like it forces Airbnb to promote those to get those last minute bookings. I guess if you're not going to get booked, then that's okay. But like book if your length of stay and your booking windows further out are dialed in, like you don't really have to worry about this. Discount stack, yeah, that's very risky there. You'll want to set up the 27 as 5, 21 as 5. Okay, this will strike through. Love the strike through. But all right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We have been going 46 minutes, and it is hopefully there's been freaking value nuggets throughout. I will wrap this thing up. If you have any follow-up questions, shoot me a message on Instagram right there at Caleb W. Shore. And I will see you guys next week. Happy